Right now at noon, officials have identified the 28-year-old Janesville man who was killed in Beloit on Saturday. And a trial for a Badger football player who's facing sexual assault charges is being delayed. We'll have the latest on that. Plus, lawmakers just have days to reach a deal on border security to avert another government shutdown.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now on this Monday afternoon. We'll get to those stories in just a bit. But first, all eyes on the weather. Meteorologist Chris Reese has a look at our first alert forecast and more snow on the way.
That's right, Mark. We do have another winter storm warning for our area. That's going to go into effect at 9 o'clock tonight. Behind me, you also do see that some of our areas are under winter weather advisories just to our south and east as we begin to anticipate this next system that is moving into the area. Now, right now, we don't have any snow falling over us. So, of course, things are dry. Nonetheless, it is cloudy. There is rain and snow just to our south and west. And while it doesn't look impressive on radar at the moment, expect things to fill in, especially as we go through the next 12 hours. By the time we get you towards midnight, folks, yeah, things are going to be impressive. We're going to have very, very heavy snow moving in along with gusty winds. But right now, the temperature 25 degrees, which does mean we are cold enough for any snow to stick. Temperatures all in the 20s for us. Here's how things will play out. Here we are right around 9 o'clock. You see that first round of snow moving in. And remember, I said, as we get you closer towards midnight, yes, things are going to get heavy. Those overnight hours and into the morning rush hour are going to mean business when it comes to the storm, folks. By the way, we are 4 inches shy of being on average for snowfall this season. Believe it or not, yes, we are still below average, but this next storm has the potential to push us above average. By how much? I'll answer that coming up in just a few minutes, Mark.
All right, it's going to be a lot.
All right.
Thank you, Chris. We'll see you in a few minutes. And the Streets Division will apply salt to all residential streets in Madison today. This is likely the first time that all of Madison streets have been directly salted since the 1970s. The city says they're taking this action due to the layer of ice on many of the streets and the major winter storm likely arriving by this evening. Officials have identified the 28-year-old Janesville man who was killed in Beloit on Saturday. Authorities say James Thompson was killed in the 800 block of Vine Street. Investigators believe the homicide happened around 12:20 p.m., but it wasn't reported to authorities until over 2 hours later. Preliminary autopsy results confirm that Thompson died of homicidal firearm trauma. No one is in custody for the homicide. Police will be holding a news conference at 2 o'clock this afternoon. The trial for suspended Badger football player Quintus Cephas, who is facing sexual assault charges, was delayed today. According to court records, Cephas's case was determined to be, quote, not ripe for trial at this time. Cephas faces 2 felony sexual assault charges in connection with sexual assault allegations from last year. Cephas pleaded not guilty in October. According to court records, Cephas's bail is continued and a trial date will be reset. A Janesville man was arrested on suspicion of injuring another driver in an accident while driving drunk. Rock County Sheriff's deputies say 31-year-old Sammy Bunker was arrested after hitting another vehicle and showing signs of impairment. It happened on East County Highway O in Janesville around 9 o'clock last night. Deputies said Bunker was responsible for the crash, which injured 2 other people. He's facing multiple charges, including his second operating while intoxicated charge. Bunker expected to make his initial court appearance today. A Sauk County home and a barn were destroyed in separate fires early Sunday and early this morning. The barn fire happened on County Road H in the township of Delona on Sunday. Several fire departments from the area helped put the fire out. The barn and its contents are considered a total loss. Now, the second fire happened about 12:45 this morning at a home on County Road EE in the township of Woodland. Authorities believe the fire started in a wood stove in the basement of the house. Everybody inside was able to make it out safely. No injuries reported. Congress is running out of time to find a compromise on border security before another partial government shutdown begins. Republicans and Democratic lawmakers are meeting again this afternoon in an attempt to revive stalled negotiations over border security and funding the government. Talks broke down over Democrats' demands to limit the number of undocumented immigrants that can be detained by capping the number of beds in ICE detention centers at 16,500. They want the Trump administration to prioritize detaining immigrants with criminal records over families. But Republicans say ICE detains criminals and a cap would hinder that mission.
Cutting down on the number of beds, which would actually force them being released into the United States. I know that's not going to be supported by this administration.
Time is of the essence. We need to move forward. We need to keep our eyes on this. But I'm very hopeful, not positive, but very hopeful we can come to an agreement.
The president has said that he wants $5.7 billion in border wall funding. Right now, congressional negotiations are looking at between $1.3 and $2 billion for the border barrier, mostly new and replacement fencing. Well, women and rap were the big winners at last night's Grammy Awards. Host Alicia Keys brought out Lady Gaga, Jada Pinkett Smith, that is, Jennifer Lopez, and former First Lady Michelle Obama to open the show. Casey Musgraves won 4 times, including the night's top award, Album of the Year. Lady Gaga and Brandi Carlile nabbed 3 Grammys each. Cardi B also made history as the first solo female to win Best Rap Album. Dolly Parton was honored as Music Care's Person of the Year. Childish Gambino took home 4 awards, including Best Song and Record of the Year for This Is America. Well, there's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
This isn't your ordinary ravioli covered in red sauce. Just wait until you see how we fancied it up for our new weeknight favorite. If your daily dinner routine is getting a bit too routine, then I have a pretty good feeling you're gonna love what we're whipping up today. It's a quick throw together that starts with plum cheese ravioli and ends up with rave reviews. We start by cooking a package of frozen cheese ravioli according to the package directions. While this drains, we combine some Italian breadcrumbs with a few of our spice rack favorites. In another bowl, we beat an egg with a little milk. Now we dip our cooked ravioli into the egg and then into the breadcrumb mixture. Once they're coated, we fry them in a bit of vegetable oil until both sides are golden. And rather than serving these with a red sauce like normal, we'll toss them with some fresh spinach, along with some cherry tomatoes, and a homemade sweet and sour walnut dressing. Does this ever look good or what? With each bite, you get the crunch and the cheesiness from the ravioli, the freshness from the salad, and the tang of the dressing. If you want to get out of your boring dinner routine, just look for Toasted Ravioli Dinner on our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a change of pace kind of way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, several counties will be under a winter storm warning later this afternoon. Meteorologist Chris Reese is tracking the possible heavy snow heading our way. That's next in our First Alert forecast. It's a mixed bag on Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrial is down 17 points. The NASDAQ up 19. The S&P is up 3 points at the noon hour. Let's check in now with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee as we await for more snow.
I'm glad I'm off the road for at least a little bit the front part of this week. I was up in Wisconsin Dells on Friday. That kind of snow would have made the trip much more challenging. We had the Wisconsin Cattlemen's Winter Convention on Friday and Saturday, and I was part of their award ceremony. I want to congratulate the Cattleman of the Year, Reed Ludlow. He's from just outside of Viroqua, came to Wisconsin back in 1976 because of our soil and our marketing climate. Reed Ludlow's Rush Creek Cattle Ranch, named Cattleman of the Year. Also from our backyard, Dave and Rena Koenig from down in Monroe, given the Meritorious Service Award for their dedication specifically in managing the Wisconsin Cattleman State Trailer. John Freitag, past Executive Director of the Wisconsin Beef Council, given an award for his lifetime of service to Wisconsin's beef and dairy industry. Dave DeLong from Del Hawk Cattle Company in Janesville, given the Friend of Cattlemen Award. You want to see the rest of them? I've got it up on my website now, fabulousfarmbabe.net, or on Facebook, Fabulous Farm Babe. We've got plenty more conferences coming up this week. Now, the grain trade today is a little anxious about what's happening in Beijing. We're back at the discussion table later this week, Robert Lighthizer, our trade representative, and Secretary of the Treasury, Munchen's going to be in Beijing for cabinet-level discussions. Remember, March 1st, the deadline before another layer of tariffs is supposed to be imposed. So markets are nervous today. That's why we're trending lower. Barrel cheese picked up 3 cents on a Monday at 1.40 1/4. 40-pound block cheese 3 1/4 stronger at 1.56. Today the butter gives up a couple cents, down 2 1/2, and closed at 2.27 a pound for a Monday trade session. But like I said, more and more conferences coming up. Tomorrow I'll try to recap the Wisconsin Potato and Vegetable Conference that was last week, and if I get a chance, Wisconsin FFA Alumni State Convention too, Mark. So like I said, that's in my rearview mirror. What I'm focused on this week is how far I'm going to be able to get, how fast with all that snow coming in.
Yeah, it's quite a bit the way it sounds.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Safe travels.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Pam. Let's head over to the Weather Center. Chris Reese is here with the latest on the storm track. Chris?
Good afternoon, Mark. That's right. We do have winter storm warnings in play for just about all of us. Some of us are under winter weather advisories. Let's go ahead and show you guys how things are shaping up for us. In Madison, we are under a winter storm warning. Those winter storm warnings go up towards the Twin Cities, but then they kind of taper off towards winter storm watches around Minneapolis. Back to the south and west, we do have winter weather advisories, and in the extreme southeast, there are winter weather advisories as well. All of these go into effect at 9 o'clock for us. You work your way towards the north and east, they go into effect at midnight. Down towards the south and west, they're going to go into effect at 6 o'clock this afternoon and evening. Now, we don't have any snow on the radar right now. As we zoom things out, you begin to see the leading edge of the system starting to work its way towards southern Iowa. It doesn't look all that impressive right now. I understand that. But as we go forward into time, we will begin to watch the radar pick up as better forcing to get the air to rise to produce more snow will come into the picture. Right now, it's just a lot of cloud cover out there, gray and wintry looking. Temperatures at 25 degrees. That means any snow that does fall will stick. The ground is still certainly very frozen after the several systems we've gone through along with the colder air. Winds out of the northeast at 12 miles per hour. 24 the Dells, 28 as you work your way down towards Janesville. But the reality is all of us are seeing those temperatures in the 20s right now. Let's take you forward throughout the night, though. Here we are at 9 o'clock. You'll see the leading edge of that snow starting to work its way on into town. By midnight, heavy snow starts to push in from the south, and we are talking very heavy snow, upwards of 1 to 2 inches per hour coming down at times, along with gusty winds. I'll talk about that wind in just a second. Here we are at 7 o'clock. We're still dealing with the snow. We're still dealing with the wind, though the winds are going to begin to be relaxing at this point. Eventually, at 7 o'clock, we're going to start to watch the heaviest snow move towards the north and east, but we're still going to be controlled by moderate snow. That's going to last at least until lunchtime. So here we are. More than 12 hours of snow has been coming down at a pretty good clip in Wisconsin at this point. Then we get you towards 3:30. Finally, we'll start to see some of that drier air working in. That snow will become more so light snow, eventually tapering off to flurries. Here we are at 9:30, though. We still could see some additional flurries around. So this is going to be a longer duration snow event, along with the wind, too. Here we are overnight tonight. Some of those winds right around 30 miles per hour coming out of the east. Still keeping those gusty winds around into your Tuesday morning. Here we are at 10:30, though, when those winds will relax. And then tomorrow night and into Wednesday morning, we're going to see those winds pick up once again for us here in south central Wisconsin. Now that I've thrown all that information at you, here's what you want to know. How much snow are we looking at? Towards the south and east, I do have you at 3 to 6 inches. That's just because I'm a little concerned about some drier air working into the picture there. It's going to limit how fast that snow can accumulate. But I am looking at 6 to 9 inches here in the Madison metro, and that's on the conservative side. Some of this could be a little bit higher. Then you work your way towards the north and west. That's where I'm going with 9 to 10 inches of snow, and it's possible that some folks could see upwards of a foot. It's really just going to depend on the banding from this system. But nonetheless, folks, this is going to be a pretty significant winter weather event around here. That's why Tuesday is an alert day, and expect that to be a pretty serious alert day as well. Travel impacts will certainly be felt tomorrow, especially with the ice that is underneath the snow on a lot of those roadways. We get a break, though, perhaps another system Thursday into Friday. It does not look as big right now, but we're going to watch that. Sunshine for the weekend, perhaps more light snow early next week with colder temperatures.
Making up for lost time.
Making up for lost time as well. And I didn't get a chance to show it because I ran out of time, but essentially that storm would push us several degrees or several inches above average for the season. And typically at this point, we get about 20 more inches of snow in the season. Tonight could bring half of that.
You're out of time. Sorry.
Tonight could bring half of that,
right.
so it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. All right, there's more to come on News 3 Noon. Up next, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here, answering your plant and garden questions. 270-9933, the number to call. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here. Welcome to you.
Hello.
Taking your calls at 270-9933. It's a little shot of spring here. We need
little shot of spring and a little bit for Valentine's Day. Some pretty flowers. So we've got cineraria, which always come up at this sort of late winter time and are always so nice in the blue tones. Little heather, and of course, kalanchoe.
So all houseplants.
All houseplants, blooming houseplants. Put them in your kitchen, in the window. It'll sort of brighten up your home.
And you survived the Garden Expo.
I did. I did survive the Garden Expo.
Busy.
It was crazy.
I heard it was very busy.
It was crazy.
All right, let's go to the phones. We will start with Jay in Madison. Hi, Jay. What's your question?
Quick comment for Mark and then a question for Lisa. Mark, for once, can you guys, your staff, fix the margins on a TV screen? We were seeing the word ant questions instead of ant questions.
Okay.
It started last week when you had the changes with your website or your station feedback, whatever, and so please fix the margins. We cannot, I'm surprised more viewers have not complained about this. A question for Lisa. We're going to do landscaping in our yard next summer coming up, and I want to know in forecasting what would be the best kind of tree to plant to attract winter birds in the wintertime. So kind of forecasting what's the best thing. And also, again, fix those margins on the TV screen.
All right.
Okay, so the best plant, I think, are crab apples from the Sargent crabapple family. So there are a whole bunch of them. Tina, Firebird, there's one called Select. They're sort of small and tidy for sort of suburban landscape, but the food is small and it hangs on and the birds really love it. That would be my number one for winter birds.
The fruit stays on all winter.
Yes, it does. It's what we call persistent.
Okay, let's go to David now in Sauk City. Hi, David. David, you there?
Hi. Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead.
I would like to know if there is any kind of repellent or something I can use to keep raccoon out of a vegetable garden.
Okay, well, with raccoons, they're kind of tenacious, so you might want to try a combination of a repellent with some barriers. But the repellents, I would use something like a predator urine, like coyote urine, or something from like a big-sized predator. That would probably give the raccoons the message.
Get out.
Get out, stay out.
All this ice that's on all the trees and bushes, is this going to be a problem?
No, actually, when ice... unless it's heavy enough that it causes breakage. But that little skim of ice that looks so pretty when it's wintry and sunny, actually there's a layer of water between the ice and the branch, so it doesn't cause a lot of trouble. As a matter of fact, ice is used a lot as frost protection. You know, sometimes you'll see down
like
in Florida,
yeah,
they'll put ice on the trees and it just causes a little bit of insulating.
So it doesn't hurt any of the buds that emerge in the
fall?
fall?
No, it doesn't. And as a matter of fact, there were all sorts of pictures on Facebook this weekend from an orchard in Michigan where the ice had coated some rotting fruit, and as the fruit fell out, it created an ice ghost apple, they were calling it, on the trees. It was really beautiful.
I saw that because the bottom
rotted and it just dropped out and just left the shell of the apple. It was super pretty.
Mother Nature's something, isn't it?
I know, indeed.
All right, well, survive the upcoming snow. I guess you guys at the Bruce Company are probably happy about all this
Yes,
snow.
there'll be some plowing.
That's our time for now. We'll see you next time. Let's head back over to the Weather Center. Chris Reese, one final check of the forecast.
That's right, Mark. Again, we are looking at 6 to 9 inches of snow across the area tonight. Lesser amounts towards the south and east, but that's just because I do think a little bit of drier air will work its way in as we go towards tomorrow. In the north and west, we're looking at 9 to 10 inches of snow, if not just a little bit more. I'm looking at the afternoon model trends coming in as we speak. Now, here we are compared to average. We are 4 inches below average for the season. This storm, of course, could put us above average by 5 inches or so, Mark.
All right, be careful tomorrow morning. Keep it here on News 3 for School Watch, and we'll see you back here at 4 o'clock.